What's going on, my fellow collectors? Jim here with another figure review. Let's take a look at the Marvel Legends series, Marvel's Avengers Infinity War Iron Man figure. Packaging is what we've seen before. We get the nice big open window. We do have Marvel Avengers Infinity War Iron Man. You do got the little A up on the top. On the side, you got a cool image of Iron Man. Same image on this side. On the back, of course, you have an image. A little bit of a read up top there. And then, of course, the rest of the figures within the wave to build the Thanos figure. So very cool. The little read up top here, bottom of the packaging. But yeah, that is it. And if you're like me, who've been trying to hunt these figures down and haven't been able to find them, this is probably the one guy who will be on the peg. It seems like everybody's grabbing everything else and leaving the two, Iron Mans that come per case. It's kind of funny, actually. But yeah, let's get them out and take a look. Okay, and here he is out of the packaging. We don't get a lot with this figure. You don't get a Build-A-Figure piece. And you basically just get two, blast effects, which we have seen over and over again. This time it's done in like a translucent kind of blue color, like a translucent turquoise color. But I mean, again, it's, nothing we haven't seen. Of course, these will plug into the bottom of the feet. So you can have him like he's blasting, or you can put him in his hands, peg him into the hands as well, to give him like a blast effect coming out of his hands. And of course, the only other accessories we do get with this guy is a pair of fists, and then of course you get a pair of blast hands. Now, with these, they don't have a hinge on them, so when you do, put them into the figure, really all you're going to get is rotation. You don't get any really up and down movement, so it's kind of stuck in that position, which we've seen before on, Marvel Legends Iron Man figures. But I mean, that's it. But I mean, taking a closer look at the, what is this? Is this considered the Mark 50 yet? I don't know if we've gotten actual confirmation on that or not yet. But it's actually not bad looking. I do like it. I mean, one Iron Man is kind of like another Iron Man. It just kind of depends on whether you or not you like the Mark. I think they're all pretty cool for their own little reasons. But this was not bad. I do like the gold paint that they use throughout this. And of course we do get the nice red as well. It's kind of like marbling a little bit on the plastic on the chest. And that's really the only place you see it is this big part right here on the chest. You get a little bit of marbleization in the plastic. You don't get it anywhere on the legs. You get it a little bit here in the torso. A little bit on the back as well. But I mean, pretty decent sculpt all over. I like the head sculpt, or the helmet. I like this kind of like, translucent blue that we kind of get outlined all throughout this suit. That's the one thing that kind of brings it out and I think makes it look really neat and cool. But the sculpt to the helmet's a little bit different, a little bit sleeker. Looks like it's kind of like much kind of narrower and kind of brought out this way, a little bit more like the chin and, face plate of it. We do get some cool little designs here on the side, and again I like what they did with the eyes and the outline all throughout this figure, this bluish color that we get. The arc reactor, it's not a circle, so my favorites are the circle arc reactors. But we do have the arc reactor and it does have a little bit of an outline around it to give it that kind of glowing effect and a nice white in the middle. And then of course we get really nice kind of sculpting details all throughout this figure. And I like how we also get a little bit of silver outlines in here along with the golds, and again with the blues and everything. And then of course we get nice sculpted lines all down the legs. Get some nice silver again on this side coming down to the feet. So I mean, yeah, the sculpt is all pretty much there, and it does look cool overall. Back of the figure, you don't really get too much. You get a little bit of gold hints here and there. But I mean, overall, cool looking Iron Man figure. Now, as far as his articulation, it's pretty standard, what we're used to. You get nice movement with the head. Kind of feels like it's really loose on the ball joint. It could just be my figure. But I mean, you can get crazy up with this guy. Crazy down. And of course, you get full rotation and not really much pivot. But it feels very loose on the ball joint of mine. Like, look at that. It's kind of floppy loose. I don't know if that's the hinge that's floppy, or if it's just not connected to the ball all the way. Shoulders are pretty limited, actually. You only get about that much out. You can rotate that all the way around. You do have the bicep swivel. You do have double jointed elbows, which give you surprisingly pretty decent range. Of course, the interchangeable hands, the repulse blast hands are kind of stuck in this position, but the other hands you can, hinge back and forth. You do get movement in the torso. You get back. So that's pretty good for the flying poses. I mean, you're going to be able to get him in some pretty cool flying poses. Forward, not too much. A little bit of side to side. Of course, rotation. Nothing at the waist. Hips go out about that much. Kick forward, but kind of out at an angle. Don't really want to kick back very much. You do have a thigh cut in there. You do have double jointed knees, which don't give you too much range, really. And in the feet, you do have a hinge that will bring them all the way back, so that's cool. All the way forward. Mine are really tight. And of course, you do have the ankle rocker. There is 2 peg holes on the bottom, of course, for the blast effects. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pretty cool looking Iron Man figure. Especially if you're collecting all of this line, you're going to want Iron Man to complete the set, even though he doesn't come with the Thanos Build-A-Figure part. It is cool to have a Marvel Legend for this mark. As far as his height, it looks like Iron Man is almost like 6 1/4 inches tall. And as far as in comparisons, here's the Iron Man mark from the Homecoming. So as you can see, they definitely went with an all-new sculpt, like they usually do for these, Marvel Legend movie figures. Pretty much all new design all around. Here he is with another Invincible Spider-Man Iron Man figure. So as you can see, they both stand pretty much around the same height. And as far as whether or not you could swap the comic head off, I don't know. We're going to find that out. Let's see if we can pop this head off and put it on this body if you wanted to. Or any other Marvel Legends Tony Stark figure head you might have. That's what it is, guys, on this figure. It's the hinge that's really just floppy loose. So it might be a kind of a pain in the butt for me to get the head on there. But as you can see, you can get another Marvel Legends head on there if you do feel like you want to do that. So that's cool to know. Let me pop this back in there. Pain in the butt with that thing being floppy. But yeah, I think overall it's a pretty cool looking Iron Man figure. Here he is with a couple of the other figures that we did get within this wave, the Taskmaster and the King Cobra. So that just gives you a little bit of comparison amongst some of the other figures that I was able to grab in this wave. But yeah, that was it, guys. That was a look at the Marvel Legends Avengers Infinity War Iron Man figure. Pretty cool little figure. Like I said, he's going to be the one that you're going to be able to find. I notice everywhere I go, I see at least a couple of him on the pegs and just cannot find anybody else. But that was the review. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next figure review.